In the year 1870, off the cold and haunted coast of Maine, sailors began whispering about a place that wasn't supposed to exist. They called it Northpoint Island, a strip of land that appeared out of nowhere, wrapped in mist so thick it swallowed even sound. No map showed it, no captain had charted it, and yet, hundreds claimed to have seen it flickering faintly beneath the moonlight like a ghost in the sea. Some said it rose only on nights when someone nearby was about to die. Others said it was a doorway, a living piece of the ocean that didn't belong to this world at all. One stormy night, a fisherman named Elias Crow saw lights far out in the water, soft, golden, swaying, like lanterns on a ship. He thought it was a vessel in distress. He gathered 4 men, strong and brave, and they set out in their wooden boat toward the glow. The waves were strange that night, they didn't crash, they pulsed, as if the sea itself was breathing. And when the fog cleared, they saw it, a small island covered in moss and dead trees, rising quietly out of the black ocean. The island smelled of salt and iron. The men stepped ashore and felt the earth tremble under their boots, like something below was shifting. The trees were twisted, their branches shaped like arms reaching for help. They found narrow paths that led to stone houses, broken and buried halfway in sand. Yet inside, the air was warm, too warm for a cold Maine night. There were plates on tables, candles half burned, and a pot still steaming over a fireplace that had no flame. Someone had just been here, or something still was. A bell tower stood at the island's center, its rope swinging even though there was no wind. From the forest behind it came a faint whisper. At first, it sounded like waves. Then it became clearer. A voice, or maybe hundreds of voices, murmuring in perfect unison, "Leave before the tide takes you." The men froze. One of them, young Thomas Hale, shouted back, "Who's there?" but the only A. They ran toward their boat, but the shoreline had vanished. Where their boat once floated, there was only open water, endless and black. Elias shouted orders, his heart pounding like thunder, but the fog closed in tighter until they could barely see each other's faces. The sea began to glow, faint green light moving under the surface, like veins pulsing through the island itself. The ground cracked. The air grew colder. One by one, the men began to disappear into the fog, their screams fading like whispers into the night. Only Elias was found, days later, drifting in his wrecked boat near the coast. He was half mad, his hair white as snow, his eyes staring at nothing. He spoke only 7 words before he died: "The island breathes. The island remembers. Waits." His journal was recovered, soaked in seawater. The last page was torn, but a faint line could still be read: "We are not the first here." After that, Northpoint Island vanished from every map. The government denied its existence. Local fishermen stopped sailing east after dusk. Strange tides began to pull boats off course, and anyone who tried to follow the lights never came back. By 1890, even the name Northpoint became taboo. The villagers refused to say it aloud, afraid it might call the island back from the deep. But the story didn't end there. In 1953, a U.S. Navy sonar ship picked up an unknown landmass in the exact same coordinates where the island was once rumored to be. It appeared for only 6 minutes before disappearing completely from radar. The crew dismissed it as a glitch. 2 months later, one of the sonar technicians went missing. The last thing recorded in his log said, "It's calling me. I can hear the bells." In 1978, a satellite image captured something strange off the coast of Maine, a shadow of an island that wasn't supposed to exist. Analysts thought it was a cloud, but when they enhanced the image, they saw what looked like rooftops, pathways, and a single church tower leaning. Then, in the winter of 2009, a U.S. Coast Guard drone patrolling the Atlantic recorded something it couldn't explain. At first, it looked like a weather anomaly, a perfect spiral of fog rotating in absolute silence. But as the drone descended, the mist parted just enough to reveal shapes: rooftops, walls, and a bell tower rising from beneath the waves, exactly where Northpoint Island was said to be. For 32 seconds, the island stood visible, motionless, and eerily intact, as if time had preserved it under glass. Then, the drone's feed cut to static. When the data was recovered, technicians noticed something even stranger. Amid the static, a faint sound looped over and over, the tolling of a church bell, and a whisper. It wasn't digital interference. It was a voice, calm, distant, and human. The message repeated 3 times before the file corrupted completely. "The tide has remembered.
After that, reports started coming in from local fishermen.
They spoke of hearing bells from under the sea, of seeing lights flicker beneath the surface like lanterns swaying in the dark. One man claimed he saw a figure standing on the water, motionless, holding something that glowed, a journal, dripping seawater, pages fluttering in the wind.